Okay, so AI is as old as the devil's rebellion, maybe older a little bit. It's part of the reason he fell. Technology, creating beings that aren't real and trying to surpass God with this said creation by numbers or whatever. The thing that's interesting is that how do they power everything? How do they get it running? Well, if you look into the alchemical stuff, what's interesting is that the golems, they would put a symbol, and sometimes they said it was the name of God. I don't think so. I think that was just what they said to make it seem like it wasn't horrific, because usually alchemists were mixing blood, like of innocent children and stuff. That's where you get into this fallen angel stuff. But so let's put it like this: if you ask these AI idiots, what's the best way to control a person's mind through a Neuralink? Oh, they pass the eye. If you had to pick, they'd probably say the teeth because they're connected to everything. And in their superstition, they tie teeth to a golf tee, to tea in London. They think it charges them up like they're superstitious idiots. That hasn't even been how it's going. They're not that smart. They project this air of intelligence so that you don't suspect they're not that smart. But rebels against God are as smart as it is to rebel against an almighty, all powerful, all knowing God. It's not very bright. And so we go on. So I think that they are trying to connect, like, whatever they're happening in death. So if you look at 2nd Esdras 7, it talks about, it's apocryphal, it talks about what happens to a soul after they die. Now, I don't get as much specifics, but they're in agony. Do you think they might try and pass that agony to us? And why did Jesus say they go into the place of gnashing of teeth? I think they've been doing witchcraft with the teeth. And that's why there's a big old backfire hitting them. And if you've ever had toothache, you can't do anything. So here their judgment is they have horrendous tooth problems and pain in the mouth, and they have to go out there and try and beat God in a war. This is great tribulation. This is why I pray that you're not pregnant in that time. Now, God is talking also to those that have been somewhat duped by the system or born into it, or all the contingencies that no one thinks God can take care of, and He can and does. So don't quote me on that last part. I was just kind of riffing. I might have said something that wasn't quite as accurate as I would have wanted. So just kind of make a caveat, not a cavity, a caveat for what I said. And take a look at how many times this is and what Jesus is sentenced. Now, every time the fallen angels went after him, it was because they figured out that he knew what they were. They were the fairies. They were the fallen ones. When he said actors on the stage of life with the word hypocrites, I'm sure it was very triggering to them because that's what they are, and they're still doing it. Why do you think we have crisis actors?